All right, everybody, welcome into the High Noon Report with me, Pugs Moran. Hold on, let me do some things here. As you can see, new studio again. That's right. Again, we have stuff. Okay, so if you're with us, we do a number of streams every day. We do this one Monday through Friday at noon. And then we do this is topics, current events, headlines, whatever it is that's happened in the world, we run through them. Like I said, every day, Monday through Friday. Then at night, Monday through Thursday, typically last night, we'll get into it. Last night, we didn't do a show, but that's the Radio Misfits show. And you can enjoy that Monday through Thursdays at 9 o'clock. I do want to apologize for last night's Radio Misfits show. Now, we canceled it, and it came down to the very last minute. That's why there was no warning, and I do apologize. If you follow along and you listen to the show with any regularity, you know that we've been jumping around studios lately because of some changes that we're doing here at the One Percenter compound. So for a while, I had been doing shows from a remote studio that we were calling the Comfort Nest South. Well, we're back in the legit Comfort Nest. Look at us. Couldn't be happier. I got a little nuts. I was like messing around with how I hate it. Here's the thing. So original Comfort Nest Studios, for you long timers, the original Comfort Nest Studios, I hated the back. I hated what it was just very bland. It was a white wall. I didn't like it. Then we went into the temporary studios, which were over there at the Comfort Nest South. And that was a closet. That was a giant walk-in closet in a master bedroom. And I had to use it because it was the only room where I could at least manage the echo, because every other room was just gigantic and empty. And so anyway, so I'm in a closet. And just by happenstance, I created a background that I really liked. And then when I had to move back here, I was like, oh, but I like that background. So I tried to do something similar. Now, let me tell you what's going on here. Hi, everybody. Who we got in the chat room? Let's see our peoples. Is the chat room not mixed? There we go. All right, here. I'm going to say hello to everybody. Grab your futons and form your soul circle of life. And there you go. I was going to put hi, everybody, but I figured it's too distracting. Come on, chat people. Come on, everybody. Hang out. Yeah, I don't know. This could be an ever-changing sort of menagerie. I'll tell you what we do have. We got the Funky Bunch. Look at the Funky Bunch. Funky Bunch hanging out. I know. What is this? Is this a news show? Or is this like some weird... Because I'm fully aware of who I am. I'm a man in his 50s. What am I doing? Like a pedophile show? What am I, like, unboxing Fisher-Price toys? What is this? I don't know. But I do like the guys. Ladies and gentlemen, the Funky Bunch. We've got this guy here. This is Papa Bear. This is Sir Fluff-A-Lot. And this would be Doggy Daddy. That's right. Those are my son's stuffed animals from when he was little. I found them in the closet. I mean, you don't throw those things out. You ain't throwing them out. So I figured I'd make them part of the show. The rest of what we got going on here. Let's see. We got this guy. We got Jeff. Jeff is MIA. I know Jeff's got a life outside of this, so Jeff's dealing with life. But Jeff is remembered, ladies and gentlemen. Keep a good thought for Jeff. We got the remnants of black whiskey. That's all that's left. That's all that's left of it. Angry Bird. Oh, this here. I got this. I thought I had this nicely framed. There you go. That's the briefcase with all the radio stations I've worked at, and somehow, from this angle, you can see Live 105.3, Free FM at the top, and then in the middle there, the bone. All right, so very good. That explains what's happening with the new background. I don't know. I don't know if the Funky Bunch are going to stick around, but I do like saying, ladies and gentlemen, the Funky Bunch. I do like doing that, so that's a thing. Also, the camera angle, weird, I know. Trying some different things. Hold on, what's going on with the air conditioning? Can we hear the air? I guess the air conditioning isn't going to be a problem, because if I had to take my earpiece off to say, see if I could hear it. Hi, Jen. Jen's here. Let's say hi. Leslie's here. Byron's here. Deronda's here. Who else? Okay. All right. We see some people filling in. All right, very good. Thank you to our friends at Sacred Oils. Sacred Oils, 13740 Midway Road. They support the show. We appreciate that. Also, thank you to all of you who have tipped. It's tipping time. It's coming. I'm going to start pushing hard because, oh my God, it's the end of the month and you know how that shit goes. Oh, this show is completely supported by your kindnesses, your tips, whatever it is. If you enjoy the show, you want to drop a little something like a cup of coffee or something, that's fine. That's how we get through. We don't make much, but we do it out of a love for the performance. Yeah. And what is this show? You're probably asking. Well, sort of a hybrid of extemporaneous stream of consciousness mixed with the topics of the day. So that's what I do. I put a show together every morning. Excuse me. I'm still nursing. Oh, that's a whole nother thing. Wait till I fill you guys in on this. So what I do here is I kind of give you for the next 2 hours. I'm just not going to shut up. And we're going to go through one after another, all of the hot topics that people are talking about, the things that are trending, the headlines and all that. But before we do that, I have to explain about the voice. That was one of the reasons that the show last night was canceled, which I'm still apologizing for, by the way. I know that. I haven't officially apologized for canceling Radio Misfits last night. Yesterday, if you listened to the High Noon Show, you know that I had a thing going on with my voice. I had laryngitis since Saturday. Saturday was so bad I had no voice. It started to come back slowly. I was afraid that I would have blown it out yesterday by doing the show. I mean, here's how I was having the internal debate with myself. And by the way, all my most effective enemies reside within my own being. And they work endlessly to try and trip me up. So yesterday, I had very, very poor vocal quality. But I said to myself, I said, you know what? Screw it. Mind over matter. And now guess what's happening? They're pulling some hiccups bullshit. Yeah, I told you, man, all of these things inside of me, they work against me. They're never on my side. There we go. Thank you. Hiccups, ladies and gentlemen. The body is revolting in every part. Oh, that hurts. Oh, great. So I probably shouldn't have done the show yesterday because of my voice, but I did it anyway. And in doing so, it's like my body said, "Oh, okay, all right, you're gonna ignore the signs. What else can we throw at them?" So while moving the studios from the big house, I'm fighting the hiccups. I'm still fighting my body. See what I'm doing? Two things at once. Hiccups. And there's an added wrinkle to the hiccups now, which I'll tell you about in a second. Okay, I got to work through these. So yesterday while moving studios, one of the things that I had to move was a giant California king-size mattress. And it was just me and my son, and we had to move from one house to the other, and I completely screwed up my back. I mean, I am in serious pain. I had a terrible night's sleep. And it's just look, I got back issues. I got to be careful. So now my back's going to hurt for 4 days. And now that I'm hiccuping, I'm noticing that, oh my God, that hurts my back when I hiccup. Thank you, body. That's my body rebelling against me because I tried to be a champion yesterday. I tried to be a champion. My body said, don't do the show because your voice. And I said, no, I'm going to push through it. I'm a champion, I am. And I pushed through it. And now my body is going with my back. Hiccups. Why? I didn't have hiccups. Because my body knew I was talking about it. All right, there you go. That's the rundown. That's what you pay for here. I still have the hiccups and my back is killing me. It's the gripe show. I know. Oh, you better believe I'm going to be using that. Oh, see, I didn't use any of the cream that I have, the good Sacred Oils cream, because last night when I went to bed, it didn't hurt, right? It didn't hurt yet. It started hurting in the middle of the night. And then this morning, it was really bad. Oh, the hiccup situation is untenable, I must say. All right, but that's okay. We're going to push through anyway. Let's get started with today's show. A little coffee. A lot of stuff going on today, too. A lot of crap I want to get into. I got thoughts on a lot of stuff. But anyone who tunes into the show with any regularity, you know that we don't just jump right into the hot topics. What we like to do is we give you a little bit of a look at what this day has represented in the past. We go back in time into history. I pull some things that occurred on this day. We talk about them a little, then we move on to birthdays. That's right. Famous people born. We go through their accomplishments. We like to see what they've given the world, and then we move on to the next one. Just, people who I find interesting that are celebrating birthdays today, then the deaths. Yeah, we go into the mornings, a little segment that we call around here. These are the people who've died. These are the people who've died. Do we care? Because honestly, assholes, a lot of them out there. We know this. The world is filled with assholes. We also know everybody dies. Vis-a-vis, assholes die every day. So we go through a list of people who died, and we figured, do we care? Whatever. We don't hate. We don't do that. But do we care? Like, are we shedding any tears? Okay. So if you're ready, without further ado, what do you say we get started with today's High Noon Report for the 25th day of July, year of our Lord, 2023. And I did it again. In my little bullet points of notes, I've been doing this. What is wrong with me? I keep putting 2023. It is July. Is the brain now getting in? Look, brain. Oh, hold on. I need to have a conversation with my brain. Brain. Come on, man. Schizophrenic me is my co-host. He's the guy inside my head that tells me I suck. Come on, you guys get in here. All right, now I know you guys are separate and independent from the body. And I know the body is always giving us shit. You guys have done your best to manage the pain and all that stuff, and I appreciate it. But can you please talk to the body about getting on board for at least the next couple of hours? And now you guys are mislabeling the year. It's July, brain. This is like me yelling at like the middle management. It's July, brain. You're still getting it wrong. I mean, this is fine until like the 10th of January. And then we start going, you're doing it on purpose, right? It's 2024. It is the 206th day of the year. There are 159 more of these until the end of the year. So let's get started. Let's do a little segment that we like to call Erstwhile on This Day. Things that happened previously on July the 25th. On this day in the year 1837, the first commercial use of an electric telegraph is successfully demonstrated in London by William Cook and Charles Wheatstone. Cook and Wheatstone. That seems like a big deal. I don't know. Isn't that like it's like the Betamax? Although no, we still use the telegraph, right? Okay, never mind. That's good stuff. Moving on. On this day in 1866, the United States Congress passes legislation authorizing the rank of General of the Army. Who'd they give it to? Well, they gave it to the greatest general this country's ever known, Julius Grant. President Grant. He got it. He became the first to be promoted to the rank of General of the Army. And he was half in the bag when he accepted. Not born on this day. On this day in sort of born on this day. Welcome to the party, Wyoming. It was on this day in 1868 that Wyoming as a territory is officially established. On this day in 1943, during World War II, Benito Mussolini is forced out of office by the king and is replaced by... Okay, I don't care who replaced Mussolini. There was a king. Like, the whole time Mussolini was doing is, we should be friends with Hitler. Like, there was a choice to be made between, like, the Allies and the Axis. And Benito made the choice to go with Hitler. I just didn't know there was a king involved. I just always thought, Benito Mussolini, if there was a king prior to Mussolini, I'd assume that he'd have killed him, Anyway, moving on. On this day in 1965, Bob Dylan pissed everybody off. On this day in 1965, at the Newport Jazz and Folk Festival, Bob Dylan plugged in. Oh, man, you have no idea the shockwaves. That's right, he used amplifiers. He played an electric guitar. He was supposed to be playing, they wanted Bob Dylan, like a rolling, with the acoustic guitar and all that. And what they got was an electrified, a whole set. Everybody, he was probably the headliner at this big event, which is, sort of like what today's Bonnaroo or whatever is. But Newport was like a bunch of different acts, and he plugged in, and everybody freaked out. How dare he? He has gone too far this time. All the nerds, all the folk music nerds, with their, what is folk music really? Is that folk music anything like barbershop quartets? I think it is. I think it's all in the same, like, if you like folk music, you probably like barbershop quartets. Weird stuff. All right, moving on. Let's talk about this day in 1978, the birth of Louise Joy Brown. Remember her? Test tube baby. Now, I'm old enough to remember because I was about 8 years old then. 9 years. I was 9 years old. Just turned 9. So I was 9 years old then. Yeah, I remember that. I remember thinking, this is crazy. And now this poor kid, Louise Joy Brown, she was born in England, an English baby, an English test tube baby. Oh, and they called them test tube babies. Now there's probably people in the chat room who are test tube babies. We just call them in vitro. That's like a normal thing. So here's what sucks about test tube baby Louise Joy Brown. Like, everybody, like, on some level, they strive for, fame or recognition or to be popular, the belle of the ball, whatever it is at some point in their life. Man, she got it at birth. She got it at a time. She was like the most famous baby in the world back in Time magazine, Life magazine, Playboy. No, that's weird. Okay, I went too far, even I admit. But you know what I mean? She was big. She was everywhere. She was headline news. And she was a baby. She couldn't even walk any red carpets. She could, you know what I mean? She couldn't even like take limos anywhere or get hairdressers. She couldn't fire publicists. She couldn't do any of the fun stuff that, And then by the time that maybe she could start, pushing it, like maybe 5-6 years old, 5-6 years after she's born, first test tube baby Louise Brown we're talking about, like maybe 5-6 years old, she could start feeling herself like, I'm a test tube baby. And, that's me. I was first. But, by then, she's like bumping into people who are also test tube babies, except we now call them in vitro. I don't know. Sucks. I mean, everybody likes to be famous. Everybody wants to have it at least once in their life. She was world famous. She was globally known. She couldn't enjoy a moment of it. On this day in the year 2000, Concorde crashed. Remember when the Concorde crashed in France? What's the details here? I know it was in Paris, but let's see. Concorde Air France flight 4590 crashes outside of Paris shortly after taking off at Charles de Gaulle Airport, killing 113 people. Boy, the Concorde was cool. But I mean, there's a lot of reasons. The main reason why the Concorde failed was because American politics. It wasn't, Boeing didn't want Concorde flying into America easily because, Boeing and the American Airlines, they wanted to fly people. Concorde gets you there in like an hour. You want to go from you want to go from, all right, let's pick a place in the sun. You want to go from St. Louis? You want to go from St. Louis to Paris? Man, Concorde gets you there in an hour. You know who didn't like that? United Airlines. Nah, they didn't like that. American didn't like that. None of them. Boeing didn't like. None of them liked it. You know why? Because if you could do that, that would be way easier. So, they pressured politicians and we made all kinds of laws that completely stifled the Concorde's ability to thrive in the United States. They passed these sonic boom laws where the Concorde could only land at airports that were adjacent to bodies of water. So they could only fly into New York. That's it. New York, I think Los Angeles, a couple other places. Concorde couldn't fly anywhere into the center of the country, which was pretty bad. So over the years, they never really mass produced the Concorde. There were only a couple of planes and they were doing pretty good. European people were digging them, especially rich European people, rock stars and supermodels and all that kind of stuff. They were digging the whole Concorde experience, but it never scaled as a way to fly. And if it had scaled, then it had become more, affordable for people like you and me. So we never got to ride in a Concorde because of politics, because of politicians. And then when it crashed, they were like, we're going to build new ones. And they're like, why? We can't get into America. And there you have it. The story of the Concorde, as told by me, a guy who probably got about 60% of that wrong, but enough of it right that you get the point. On this day in 2010, WikiLeaks published documents about the war in Afghanistan, one of the largest leaks in U.S. military history. I'll tell you, in 2010, I didn't know what to think about this story. And in 2023, no idea what to think of this story. I don't know if WikiLeaks is good or bad. I don't know. And I went to journalism school. So, there's like certain things I'm like, we have a right to know. But then other things I'm like, do we though? Do we have a right to know everything? Do we want to know how the sausage is made? Because that's what WikiLeaks is. See, me, I didn't go into politics. I didn't try to get myself a job with a defense contractor or anything like that. Or I don't need to know the real hard studied stuff that you need to know to be able to comment on such things. And by such things, what I mean is, how are we winning the war? Here's what I'm saying: how the sausage is made. I don't want to know how sausage is made. I want to live in a country. I want to do my life and my job in my field, and I want to have my friends, and I want to be able to live my life without having to know about nuclear proliferation of short-range missiles in the sub-Saharan. I don't know about this stuff. Can I help you? Oh, Jesus. My son just decided to come out of the bedroom and start mocking me off camera. But you know what I mean? So WikiLeaks allowed us to know how the sausage was made. If you want to know how the sausage is made and you feel confident in your ability to understand the details of how the sausage is made, then whatever, go for it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what it all means. You know why? Because I didn't choose that life. So the rest of us have to just sort of live in America and just, make our decision. Do you want to know how the sausage is made? That's what WikiLeaks is all about. I don't think I do. I think it's fine. Well, I'll give you an example. Okay, so you got your soccer mom out there. I'll give you this example. I saw a soccer mom. I don't know if it was a soccer mom, but it was a car was parked in a park that my son and I were playing baseball in a couple of days ago. And the car had an Obama sticker on it. And I just, I imagined it was a nice car. It was a really nice car. It was here in Highland Park. It was a Lexus. And I'm like, oh God, I just totally pictured this fantastic soccer mom who just loves Obama. The type that have canonized, deified really, Barack and Michelle Obama. They just love him. And that woman does not want to know about Obama's drone program. She doesn't. She doesn't. Because now you got to completely rethink. See what I'm saying? Dude, you don't want to know how the sausage is made. All right. WikiLeaks. It was on this day in 2010. Maybe you do. And if you do, that's fine, man. I don't begrudge you. But you're not going to be happy with what you find. That's the whole point of knowing how the sausage is made. Because sausage is delicious. American life is delicious. But how we get this American life is kind of blood curdling. No, you know what? In this context, for this metaphor, make you sick to your stomach. Oh, that's how they make sausage? Woo! No, thank you. All right, let's move on to some birthdays. It's birthday time around here. Wanna. These people are birthdays. That made no sense. These people are birthdays. What the hell? Born on this day in 1950, Joe Kennedy Jr., American lieutenant and pilot. He died in 1944, World War II, when his plane was shot down. He was supposed to be the one. Yeah, Joe Kennedy Jr., he was JFK's older brother. Joe Jr., the namesake of the puppet master of the whole Kennedy dynasty. Joe Kennedy Sr., of course. I'm talking Joe and Rose, Joe Kennedy Sr. His son, his favored son, the one who was raised to be president of the United States, was Joe Kennedy Jr., and he died was born on this day in 1950. He would die in 1944. Again, certainly had he survived the plane crash, he was in a plane, he was shot down. He was shot down fighting a war. That's great. If he survives, he writes a book. He's president. Instead, his little brother, who had never planned for the role. Jack Kennedy was essentially allowed to be a wealthy playboy. He's still serious. There's still expectations because he's Joe Kennedy's son. So there are expectations, but it was never put upon him that he had to be the perfect one at all times. That was Joe. So, Joe, happy birthday. Born on this day in 1950. Born on this day in 1923, Estelle Getty. She's one of the Golden Girls, right? Born on this day in 1925, Jerry Paris. Do you remember him? Jerry Paris was Jerry Helper. Remember Jerry and Mill from the Dick Van Dyke Show? Jerry Helper. But see here, if you watch TV in the 70s, if you were a Happy Days fan, he was the director of Happy Days. He was the director of Laverne and Shirley. He was the director of Mork and Mindy. Probably. I don't know. He did all the Gary Marshall stuff. He was the director of Odd Couple. What? Jerry Paris. Yes, we all know him as Jerry Helper, Dick Van Dyke's next door neighbor, but he would go on to be one of the most prolific television directors of all time. Jerry Paris, born on this day in 1925. Born on this day in 1935. How about Big John Robinson? Big John Robinson, NFL coach. Made his name in college initially, USC. He was big. He was LA. He was an LA guy. USC was good. He got a profile. Suddenly he's in the NFL. Did a good job in the NFL, John Robinson. I mean, I remember John Robinson as a little kid. He was one of those coaches. He wasn't Landry or Shula or Noel, but he was in that next sort of group, where respected coaches, well, they're going up against Big John Robinson. So, that kind of thing. Happy birthday, John Robinson. Born on this day in 1936 and apparently still alive. Good on you. Born on this day in 1941, Emmett Till. Emmett Till was the young boy who was lynched. Today, the president is in Summit, Illinois, which is on the south side of Chicago, dedicating, I guess, a national monument to Emmett Till, born on this day. Here's my takeaway. Summit, Illinois is the worst smelling place I have ever been in my life. It's funny because I was watching this. The president gave a speech, president, vice president. They dedicated a national monument to Emmett Till, but they dedicated it at the Argo Temple in Summit, Illinois, which is just a godforsaken, skanky little factory town just outside of Chicago. A factory town that I'm very familiar with, as it used to host the Prime and Tender. Prime and Tender. Some of my friends from Chicago, if they're listening right now, they'll be like, oh my God, he just name-checked Prime and Tender. Prime and Tender was a teen club in the 80s. Remember teen clubs in the 80s? And on Sunday night, well, actually, it was like a really skanky discotheque at night. But on Sundays, it would become a teen club. And oh my God, we used to all go to Prime and Tender. But here's the thing, Prime and Tender was in Summit, Illinois. And Summit, Illinois is where the Argo cornstarch factory is. So this is where the president and Kamala Harris were today. They were at a church in Summit, Illinois, giving a speech dedicating a monument to Emmett Till, born on this day. And all I could think of is they right now, everybody from Washington who is standing in this room right now is going, what in God's name is that smell? The smell in this town is everywhere. And what is it? It's cornstarch. Argo. Argo makes all kinds of like cornstarch products and stuff like that. So have you ever smelt like cornstarch? I don't know. It's everywhere. It is vomit inducing, the absolute worst. There you go. That's how I talk about Emmett Till. I besmirched the town that's putting up a national monument to him. That kind of sucks. I feel bad about that now, but we're going to have to move on. Born on this day in 1951, how about Verdine White? Bass player, Earth, Wind, and Fire. Do you remember? Verdine White. I like Earth, Wind, and Fire. Born on this day in 1953. I'm going to take a moment. Going to wax poetic about this feller for a second, if you don't mind. Somebody who thought Earth, Wind, and Fire was the greatest band in the world. His favorite band was Earth, Wind, and Fire. Happy birthday, the greatest football player to ever play the game, Walter Payton, born on this day in 1953. Now, when I say the greatest football player ever to play the game, I'm not going to get into these. Look, we can have Emmett, Jim Brown, Barry Sanders. What? Fine, incredible. All of those people that you can name at the running back position are worthy of this debate. They are. They absolutely are. As is Walter. So I'm not going to get into that. I don't get it. He was more than that. He was more than that. You want to know why? He was more than that. He was the guy, when I say the greatest football player ever, if you were like, you could choose a team, a super team, and who's your first pick going to be? It's going to be Walter Payton. Because Walter Payton was not only, let's be honest, he's like top 5% in basically every aspect of playing the game of football. Top 5%. I'm not going to say he's the best run blocker of all time. Oh, but he's one of them. He's one of them. I'm not going to say that he's the best passing running back of all time. Well, he's got like 10 touchdowns. He's pretty good at it, pretty accurate. He could drop a dime, like go deep. He's a punter. He was the Bears' backup quarterback. He could run for 100 yards per game when Everybody on the other team knew he was getting the ball every single time. The Bears sucked during while he was racking up 100 yards, 150 yards, 120 yards, 200 yards. He did over 200 yards a couple of times in his career with terrible lines, terrible teams, just finishing last place every year, but he wins the rushing title. It's just insane. Those are all great. But he was a dude, man. That's why I pick him first. That's why the NFL's highest honor of the year, the NFL's Walter Payton Man of the Year award, is named after this dude. This dude was cool. He was kind. He was decent. He was the best leader the Chicago Bears had ever had. And the Chicago Bears would have counted George Halas as one of their leaders. No, not Mike Ditka, not Dick Butkus. It was Walter Payton, the best leader that team has ever had. Happy birthday, Sweetness. That's why his nickname was Sweetness. That's why I pick him first out of everybody else, because everybody on the team is going to respect him. He's going to lead them like a man, and he's going to be fun and loving, non-controversial. Yes, he had some incidents with guns. The one time, but he was cleaning his gun. He didn't mean for it to go off and shoot his manager at the restaurant that was going bankrupt. That was a total accident. Walter Payton, born on this day in 1953. Born on this day in 1958, Thurston Moore of Sonic Youth. This is interesting to me. What do you think? What do you think it got here? All right, I'll put it to you this way. When Thurston Moore wakes up in the morning and has to drive to the Starbucks to get a cup of coffee, and I'm assuming he can do that, what kind of car is he getting into? Like, what is Thurston Moore of Sonic Youth driving? Is he driving a fancy German luxury car? You know, is he driving like a Range Rover? Is Thurston Moore of Sonic Youth? Is he driving the latest Porsche? Or is he in like a 3-year-old Toyota? You know what I mean? Like, how does a guy like Thurston Moore, who's now in his 60s, how does a guy like Thurston Moore, how's he living? Because Sonic Youth, I gotta believe that. I mean, okay, so Sonic Youth had their moment. They were not big. They never had hits. They were a movement band. They were a part of a larger movement. So if you liked, Soundgarden, or if you like, they were one of the bands that came along, but they were never like a favorite. They were never like, Pearl Jam wasn't opening for them, that kind of thing. But because of that movement, because of the grunge sort of thing, he should have been able to tour, and play little clubs as Sonic Youth for the last 20 years. And he should have been able to make $150,000 a year after expenses, after all that. I mean, that's got to be worth that. I just wonder what a Thurston Moore of Sonic Youth is worth these days. I don't know. Moving on. Happy birthday, Thurston Moore. Born on this day in 1958. Born on this day in 1962, Doug Drabeck, American baseball pitcher. Here's what I'll say about Doug Drabeck. Do you guys remember? There is video out there. I won't look for it. I don't need to see it. I saw it in a bar when it happened. And they kept showing it on SportsCenter over and over again. Doug Drabeck had arm surgery. He was a terrific pitcher. He had arm surgery, and everybody's rooting for him to come back. And he came back for the San Francisco Giants, got up on the mound. Everybody, here he comes, Doug Drabeck. And he's waving to the crowd. And he gets up on the mound, and he throws a pitch, and he throws his arm completely out of the socket. It was awful. It's one of the worst sports injuries I have ever seen in my life. Happy birthday, Doug Drabeck. Born on this day in 1962. Born on this day in 1967, Matt LeBlanc. Joey! I'll tell you about Matt LeBlanc. Matt LeBlanc, yeah, he was always for me when you talk about the Friends cast. He's the throwaway. Yeah, he's the one I don't need. I'm not gay. I mean, I guess he's attractive. I'm a dude. I don't need him for anything. The dumb guy bit, it's cute. Seen it, done it before. It's not unique. The Schwimmers, Ross, and Chandler, Matthew Perry's Chandler, they were kind of unique characters. They were interesting. They had strange personality. Joey was just the dumb guy. Even Phoebe, who was forced to play the dumb girl, she put some spin on it. I don't know that Matt LeBlanc did anything particularly interesting with the Joey character. So anyway, let's move on. So after he does that, he did a show called Extra. It's called, I don't know. Look for the other Joey LeBlanc show. or Joey LeBlanc. Look for the other one. He did it on Showtime. I forgot what it was called. It was the story of some British television creators who had a very big hit BBC show, and they were stolen away by Hollywood, who was like, let's develop that into an American show. We'll all make money. And they ended up casting Matt LeBlanc to play the lead. So this entire series, which was on for like 4 or 5 seasons, this entire series, Matt LeBlanc is playing Matt LeBlanc. He's playing Matt LeBlanc, like, the fictionized, sort of like how Larry David plays an animated, a cartoonized version of who Larry. That's the same thing that Matt LeBlanc did, and he was awesome. Oh my God, Matt LeBlanc playing Matt LeBlanc as a vain, self-centered, not stupid. He didn't play him as stupid. He played him as cunning. Played him as charming, who knew how to be stupid to get what he wanted, but was real cunning. He was so good. And he was infinitely more funny in this Showtime series than he was in Friends. I think he even won awards for it. Episodes. Thank you, Jennifer. Episodes. Let's see. What else do we have? Birthdays. Brad Renfro. He's an actor. He's that name. It's like, what's Brad Renfro? I don't know who he is. I think I know who I'd have to look at a picture of him, but obvious Brad. I don't care enough about Brad Renfro to look him up, but happy birthday, Brad Renfro. Born on this day in 1982. Born on this day in 2001. Number 1 pick in last year's NFL draft, Bryce Young. Carolina Panthers. Let's see here. Let's move on to what are we doing? We're doing the people who died, right? These are the people who died. These are the people who died. That's it. These are all the people who died on this day, or at least the ones I care to mention. Oh man, my back. Just hold on. I gotta stretch. Hold on. Oh, I could just go to sleep here. All right. If you're just joining us today, my old man complaint and issues are my back. I screwed my back up moving a mattress yesterday with my kid. He wasn't. He's a lot. My kid is a lot stronger than me. He is. I'm not gonna tell him that for obvious reasons, because that would be a problem. But he's a lot stronger than me, and so we were carrying this giant California King mattress upstairs. He wasn't pulling his weight. He wasn't. He was just like, okay, I got it. I'm surprised he didn't have his phone in his hand, when he was doing it. All right, let's move on. Here are the people who've died. Here are the people who've died. Dead on this day in 1986. We got to decide if we care about this guy. Vincent Minnelli. Do we care? All right, here's what he is. He's a film director. He's an Italian film director who married Judy Garland and gave the world Liza Minnelli. Do we care? I don't think so. I don't, that's not enough for me. How about this one? Dead on this day in 1989, Steve Rubell. Steve Rubell was the guy who opened Studio 54. Remember Studio 54 is like the hottest club in the world? He was into all kinds of shady things. Drug dealing. He screwed a lot of people out of money. So no, sorry, Steve Rubell. You don't get it. Dead on this day in 1995, Charlie Rich. American singer, songwriter. I don't know any Charlie Rich songs, but I know I probably like a couple of them, because if he's one of them old school country guys. Born on this day, or dead on this day in 1997, Ben Hogan. He ain't Hulk Hogan. He ain't Ben Affleck. He's a golfer. So yeah, I don't really care. Apparently he was a good golfer, but it's not my thing. Dead on this day in 2003, John Schlesinger. Yes, we care. We care about John Schlesinger. He was a filmmaker. He's also an actor, producer. He did all those things. John Schlesinger, we care. We don't care enough for me to do a full draft, but let me give you a couple of the films that John Schlesinger is known for. Let's see here. From the Maddening Crowd in 1967, a big one for him, breakthrough. This is a run of 4 really big ones for him. Beginning in 1969, Midnight Cowboy. Followed that up with Sunday Bloody Sunday. Oh, that's such a good movie. Somebody's going to crash a blimp into the Super Bowl. I love that movie. Followed that up with Day of the Locust in 1975. Followed that up with Marathon Man in 1976. He also did Falcon and the Snowman in the 80s, The Believers, Pacific Heights in the 90s, Cold Comfort Farm also in the 90s. Yeah, so I mean, he did some shit. So there you go. Do we care? Yeah, we care. John Schlesinger. I mean, he did Sunday Bloody Sunday and Falcon and the Snowman. Those are two like really cool movies. All right, on this day, John Schlesinger died, and we should care. Dead on this day in 2020, Peter Green. Peter Green was an English blues rock guitarist, singer-songwriter, and it says here, founder of Fleetwood Mac. Now, I love Fleetwood Mac, but how influential could he have been? It's not Green Fleetwood Mac. It's not, you know what I mean? It's the drummer and the guitar player. It's John McVie's name and Mick Fleetwood's name, and yet we got Peter Green out here going around saying, I'm a founder of Fleetwood Mac. I don't think so, man. I don't think so. We don't care. Dead on this day in 2020, Lou Henson. He was a college basketball coach with a crazy haircut. Do we care? Yeah. The Lou do. That was a fun thing when I was in college. People used to comb the Lou do's. It was a thing. Dead on this day in 2020, Lou Henson. Dead on this day in 2022, Paul Sorvino. Actor, Paul Sorvino. Mira Sorvino. First of all, Mira Sorvino's dad. He gets for that. Because Mira Sorvino, you know, she's the goods. Paul Sorvino played Paulie in Goodfellas. Played Paulie in Brooklyn Tale. He played Paulie in that one he played Petey. Anytime you needed a guy to play a mob boss who was kind of sympathetic but also tough, that was Paul Sorvino. He also did Law and Order. Like he was the original. Wasn't he the original in Law and Order? Wasn't it him and a black guy? Right? You remember the original too? I know we all think of like Briscoe, you know, it's like the guy, but no, it was Paul Sorvino. The original Law and Order dude was Paul Sorvino. So we care? Yeah, we care. Of course we care. Are you kidding me? How could we not? It's Mira Sorvino's dad. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's segue now seamlessly into all the issues that are happening today. The big news, whatever it is, headlines, hot topics, current events, we're going to run through them right here. This show, you know, I like to say, it's a cheat sheet for you. You need this stuff. And, you know, I want you to be informed. I want you to, so right now, this is where it starts. We're just going to freeform. We're going to stream of consciousness through all of these headlines. And my back is killing me. Oh. You know, seriously though. Leslie reminded me that I need to take that cream that I have, that really good cream, that CBD cream. Oh. I mean, I've only used it on my ankle and it worked. I don't know if it'll work on my back. Maybe it will. We'll see. CBD cream from Sacred Oils, 13740 Midway Road. I'll let you know. I'll let you know later tonight. Although, see, I can't stop. I got stuff to do. My kid is starting double sessions in football today, so I got to take him to football practice this afternoon. Then I got to go to Home Depot. Then I got to get back here. Then I got a lot to do. You got a lot to do. You know what you should be saying to me right now? Yeah, well, you know what? We're actually doing stuff right now, and you're just sitting there blabbing about you having to do shit. If you actually had shit to do, you wouldn't have the freedom to be able to sit there and blab about, and you're absolutely right. So let's get started. These are the top stories for today, the 25th day of July, year of our Lord, 2023. Let's get started here with breaking news that came out this morning. That is not, in fact, breaking news. It is breaking alarmism. It is click. You'll be interested in this. This has absolutely nothing to do with you. This isn't news in any way, shape, or form. This sounds to me like a private family matter, but we're going to put it out there like it's breaking news, even though when you read the story, you find out it all happened yesterday. And that is, of course, LeBron James's son, Bronny James, had been rushed to a hospital suffering cardiac arrest. Apparently, it was serious enough where the young man was placed into ICU. Now, around about 10 o'clock this morning, my news alerts started going off. Everything. All of a sudden, the news page I was looking at had an updated red bar across the top. LeBron James' son rushed to hospital after cardiac event. That's the headline. Whoa, this is happening now. And because I've got multiple sources here, I'm seeing that this is a big story that is being spread around. Must be happening right now. So you click on the story and you start to read it. And then you start to realize, wait a second, and then it says, this all happened yesterday. My point is this. Celebrities are getting really good at keeping this stuff secret. We said it with Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx was able to, we still do not, he's talking, and we still do not know what Jamie Foxx's ailment is. In years past, TMZ would have it. There'd be all kinds of, we still don't have it. Madonna, probably the biggest star in the world, was admitted to a New York City hospital for 3 days. And we didn't know about it until she was back home resting comfortably. And now we have this, LeBron James's son, Bronny James, if you're unfamiliar, 18 years old, has committed to USC, probably going to play 1 year. And then he'll enter the NFL, or the NFL, the NBA draft. He may as well. He's got just as much right. Actually, I don't know. We should see. Let's see how he plays 1 year at USC. And then he's going to enter the draft. And whoever drafts LeBron James's son is going to sign LeBron James in free agency. That's the plan. 2 for 1, because LeBron James wants to play with his son, which I totally get. I actually totally support it too. There's a lot of people, you hear that and you're like, well, oh, that's what he's doing. Yeah, that's what he's doing. What's with that reaction? Why you give a shit? You don't think LeBron James at the end of his career has earned the right that if he wants to go on a bit of a see you later tour playing for some insignificant team, if you're going to begrudge him that? You don't think LeBron James has earned that right to play with his son for no other reason than to make his entire career of hard work and excellence worth it in some way to him spiritually? Maybe that's kind of a thing. I mean, we're getting all this blowback. Like people, like the programmed response to hearing that that's the plan is like, bah, bah. I'm like, why is that the response? I would do it. If I could write, come on, man. These two have been put. This is a father and son story. Now, it's great. Now, do you think the team that gets them couldn't go to them? No, I don't think so. I mean, maybe. That might be interesting. What if a good team drafts Bronny James? And then Bronny just sits on the bench. They just make room for him. But they sign his dad as like the key piece. Good, whatever. I don't care. It shouldn't matter to me. My point is this. My point is he's fine. Bronny James is fine. But because they missed out on the actual breaking news, they had to act like a 24-hour-old story was breaking crucial news. And again, I'll go back to, well, I don't know, a little thing called journalistic integrity. Look for the reasons for this. He's a high-profile person. LeBron James is. Absolutely. So some might argue, well, that's what you sign up for. What? Well, okay. All right. You're right. The public life or private life is going to be difficult for somebody who makes so much money based on their public persona. I get that. But this is about us. It all comes down to us. Fucking 18-year-old kid goes into cardiac arrest, and your first thing is, oh, I want to gawk at that. Your first thing isn't, oh, man, as a parent, could you imagine what they're going through? Oh, man, that's not your first thought? Then you just want to gawk at it? Come on, man. That's a you thing. That's a fix you thing. We don't have a right. This is not a news story. A young man's battle with now, if he was LeBron James, that's a news story. LeBron James's son is not a news story. It's just not. All right. So it looks like he's going to be all right. And kudos to America's high-end PR apparatus. Kudos to them for figuring out how to keep these medical stories secret. We've seen this now 3 times in a row. These stories have been completely squashed. DeSantis, here's another one. Governor DeSantis was involved in a car accident this morning, I should say, in Tennessee. Everybody's okay. Not a big deal. But there you go. If you hear about it, I don't know if it's a rain-soaked road. Well, why not? Let's click on it. Let's see here. It's a non-story. But it is news. That is news. A campaigning president or a campaigning candidate for a presidential campaign is involved in a car accident. Governor Ron DeSantis was involved in a car crash while traveling to an event in Chattanooga, Tennessee, with no injuries to DeSantis or his team. But what about others? Watch me find out he killed people. And it doesn't say anything about others. I don't know. All right, there you have it. Indictment watch. It's another thing. Apparently the grand jury is meeting. Why is this a big deal? Well, they meet all the time. No, they don't. They meet for very specific reasons. And when you get a grand jury to convene in one place, you typically get something done. So, indictment watch. Is Trump going to be indicted for a 3rd time? I don't know. Tick-tock. Here we go. Israel. All hell is breaking loose in Israel. The United States. And I say the United States because I don't want to trigger anyone by saying the Biden administration. But the United States has asked Israel to calm it down. All right. Your people are going nuts. We talked about this yesterday. They're taking to the streets in Israel. They're resisting Netanyahu's judicial reform, laws that passed on Monday, which limit the power of the Israeli Supreme Court to basically enforce corruption. Basically go after people who are corrupt. Netanyahu is someone who's corrupt. Yeah, Netanyahu is under multiple investigations. And one of the ways to beat these investigations, he thinks, is to change the law. And well, while he's still in charge, why not change those laws? So he did. That happened on Monday. Everybody flooded the streets. All hell is breaking loose in Israel. The United States is saying, dude, come on, calm down. And Netanyahu's going, yet. They say that? No, they don't say that. That's Russian. But he's saying no. So he's not agreeing with the United States. Now, why is this a big deal? Because if we start to get here, guys, come on. So the Israelis are now at each other's throats, right? What if one of the many enemies of Israel in that region decide that now is a good time for them to do a big land grab? Maybe something like now suddenly you've got, because of an opportunity that appears to be on the paper for Israel's adversaries, they may take this opportunity to start. Israel must maintain the appearance of a stable government. They must. Or else all hell, the land grabs will get nuts. So that's the fear. So that's where like, calm it down, Netanyahu. And he's like, no, we're going to the mats on this one. So that's what's happening in Israel. Carly Russell. Talked about Carly Russell. Oh, this girl. My God, what is this about? Carly Russell, we talked about her last week. She was the girl in Alabama who went missing, nursing student, something like that. I don't know. She worked at a salon, a spa. Stole a bunch of stuff from the spa. The sheriff let us know that in his press conference. She went missing on like Thursday night 2 weeks ago. She went, or was it 2 weeks ago? I don't know, whatever. She went missing. And all points bulletin. She calls 911. Here's how it went down. She calls 911. She says, I see a lost kid on the side of the road. Someone needs to get out here and help this kid. Then the cops arrive and she's missing. She's gone. 2 days later, everybody's looking for Carly Russell. I told you, man, the race baiters, they started on this one very early. They're not talking about Carly Russell, but they would talk about her. And then they just show like the most stereotypical white girl. It was ridiculous. I mean, I saw that. Look, I think that there is a problem with the way stories are chosen to be covered, and there has been for 40 years. But now is not the time. In the opening 12 hours of a grown-ass woman being missing is not the time to declare that she's, some kind of JonBenet Ramsey or Smart. What was that girl? Elizabeth Smart. Now, let's take a deep breath. She shows up 2 days later. She shows up 2 days later. She walks home, and she told her family a story. Apparently, I was abducted. They took naked pictures of me. Blah blah blah. Police the next day or a couple days later, they hold a press conference to get everybody up to speed on Carly. And the cops are like, she was stealing shit from her work, and she was Googling how much do Amber Alerts cost, and she was looking for information on the movie Taken. She was obviously game planning some kind of a scheme, some kind of a fraud, some sort of a cover story for something that she was getting into. And this idiot decided that abduction might work. At least that's how the cops portrayed it at the press conference. And, anybody who understands the way these things work have got to be looking at it going, okay, so let's bring some charges against her. She can't do that. At the very least, it's a fake 911 call, right? No kid. Cops, how many police man hours were wasted looking for some kid walking inside? How many police man hours were wasted looking for this woman? Whatever. Say what you will. God, police man hours. Shut your mouth. This is stupid. This girl did something incredibly stupid. And it's incredibly dangerous as well, because as I said, exploited and missing children of color and people of color and women of color is a very real issue in this country. And it's not talked about enough. But now you got this. You got someone like this. And I'm not talking about how the normal people will react moving forward. I'm talking about the abnormal people. I'm talking about the people who, all right, you know what? I'm talking about, let's just take one group of people who we know exist, racists. All right. So racists will use this now to sort of degrade the seriousness of anything that happens to anyone else moving forward. Just racists. I said us normal people, we'll be okay. We are able to take these stories one at a time as they come. But it'll be like it was already with Jussie Smollett. I mean, no, in the eyes of a racist, especially a racist with a megaphone or a racist with a platform, in the eyes of that racist, You just keep giving them more material to put out their nonsense and to convince their other lemmings that what they're saying is true. When Carly Russell pulls a bullshit stunt like this, and yes, Carly Russell is now admitting that it was all hoax. She did not get abducted by there's the other thing. She said she was abducted by a white couple, and the guy she described was 6 feet tall with long, stringy red hair with a bald spot in the back. Ugh. Okay, let's not go into that. Let's not deal with that. But whatever. She said she's being kidnapped and sexually abused, but whatever. We're moving on. She's got to go to jail. Here's what I think happened. Here's what I think happened with Carly Russell. And by the way, the reason that she's apologizing for all of this is because she's going to go to jail. And right now she's working on mitigating the actual penalties for what she has done. Here's what I think happened. She's 25 years old. She's an idiot. All right, she's an idiot. Let's just call her an idiot because she did this and she admitted she did this. She's an idiot. Case closed. Here's what I'm thinking this idiot was doing. Apparently she's got a boyfriend, right? Who's now, funny enough, now being described. The boyfriend who was, a key source of information in the early days of her. Well, there was only 2 days of her being missing, but the boyfriend was key as far as giving information and being a spokesperson and all that. Now he's being described as her ex-boyfriend. So here's what I think happened. I think this was all about the boyfriend. It was a Thursday night, and I think she wanted to do something on Friday. I really do. I think Carly Russell and her girls wanted to do something, or maybe just Carly wanted to hook up with some dude. I don't know. Thursday night. But she doesn't want her man to be upset with her. So stupid ass Carly Russell plans this incredibly absurd scheme to sort of trick America into thinking like there'd be no repercussions for that. Like, see, she's dumb. God, she's dumb. But that's what I think happened. I think she cheated on her boyfriend. I think she hooked up with some man's. And I bet you when she came back, that was the conversation. Where were you? I bet you that was it. And then the police got involved and like, you're going to jail. And now she's like, I'm so sorry. All right, let's see here. Let's see what she has to say. That's this little princess. Let's put it in this princess's own words. There was no kidnapping. Carly Russell apologizes after admitting hoax. Hoover Police Chief Nicholas Durzis said police are consulting with the district attorney's office regarding potential criminal charges after the 25-year-old's statement. All right, let's see if we get the whole statement here. I'll just read it to you. We don't need the backstory. My client apologizes for her actions to this community, to the volunteers who were searching for her, to the Hoover Police Department, and other agencies as well. The police department is consulting with the district attorney's office for potential. Russell was scheduled to be interviewed. We know that by her own admission, it didn't happen, the chief added. We're still trying to determine where she was during those 49 hours, but I'm glad that we received this, her apology. Where is the apology? At least put some, okay. Russell's parents, Talitha and Carlos Russell, told Today last week that their daughter was not in a good state when she returned and appeared to have suffered serious trauma. I'd be looking, all right, what concerts were going on in that area? Would she go to a concert? She go to a rager? Well, what did she do? She didn't want, her boyfriend wouldn't let her go, or she didn't want her boyfriend to know that she had this whole other thing. This is going to boil down to cheating on her boyfriend. Police said Russell told them that she was forced into an 18-wheeler truck and taken to a home where a man and woman told her to get undressed. And then they took photos of her. Russell's ex-boyfriend, Thomas Simmons, said in a Facebook post Monday that he was blindsided and that he and his family reacted with genuine concern. He thanked everyone who supported them. So the boyfriend's like, man, you made me look like an idiot. All right, there you go. That's the Carly Russell thing. Yeah, you know what? I rolled my eyes. When this thing was first going on, there were people out there who were already, this is Jussie Smollett. When she returned home, it was like, oh, good, she returned home. And then already you saw people, Jussie Smollett. And I rolled my eyes at that. Rolled my eyes. I went, oh, God, these people. Just leave it alone. Wait for the facts. And then the facts come out, and what do you know? They were right. And that's what I'm saying, man. That doesn't mean that that's how it is now. That just means that there are now two very high-profile examples of people of color who were supposedly involved in some kind of violent aggression against them who were lying. What I'm saying is, this is giving enemies firepower. That's what Carly Russell did. She just provided the enemies of progress and decency. She provided them with something new. It's just like, you fucking idiot. Carly Russell, ladies and gentlemen, today's idiot of month. I don't know. Maybe that's a thing. Let's see. Oh, here's an interesting one. Did you see this? This was down in, I don't know where this was. It's a video. I'll show you the video. A little baby got stuck in a car down in South Texas, and it was like 105 or something like that. I have questions. We'll watch the video. We'll watch the report, and then we'll talk about it, because, as I say, I have some questions. Hold on here. All right, I'm going to skip that trial. I do not need that. Here we go. Okay. Boop. There we go. All right, let's watch this. Here you go. This is, I don't know where this is. Somewhere like super south in Texas, like close to Matamoros, like that part of Texas. So here we go.
Windshield to rescue his baby. So this Texas dad, the shocking video. Just take a look at a father cracking a windshield to rescue his baby. So this Texas dad, this was in Harlingen, Texas on Wednesday. The family accidentally left the keys inside. Now, Harlingen is located in the southern tip of Texas. The heat index at the time was over 100 degrees. Now you can see as he pulls the baby to safety. Thankfully, that baby was not in the vehicle for too long. However, children's bodies temperatures rise 3 to 5 times faster than adults. So just a remarkable, heroic act by that father to rescue his little baby. All right, so we want to show you some stats. These are pretty staggering. 14 deaths, so child hot car deaths so far. Is
how babies died in hot cars in the Pacific Northwest? A lot of them coming
out of the South. Unfortunately, this is something that we are always concerned with as we head into.
All right, there we go. All right, hey, they did a hell of a job, right? Look at them. They saved that little baby. Okay, so let's talk about this. Like I said, I got some questions. None of them are probably the ones that you would expect. Like, first of all, okay, I don't blame the parents, right? Again, the easy thing would be, well, what are the parents do? Don't blame the parent. Totally understand how that can happen. You never locked the keys in the car? Come on, man. Dad's a hero. Dad didn't think twice about smashing his windshield. He's like, yeah, I screwed up. I locked my kid in the car. I guess this is going to be a $400 windshield repair screw up, because he went right through that windshield. And I understand that, boy. I had a situation. Some of you longtime listeners have probably heard this story before. I know tonight on the show, he can tell you his recollection of it. My son, when he was a baby, I was running around in the apartment that we lived in. We lived in this high rise. The old Mosaic building downtown. We lived in this high-rise loft-style apartments, and he lived in the penthouse. And my wife at the time and my son had this like really cool loft apartment there on like the 19th floor or something. But I'm running around, and this is a very nice apartment building. Like the bathroom doors are like front doors to homes. They're like really solid, really thick. I mean, I've lived in apartments where the bathroom doors and the closet doors were basically balsa wood. You put your fist through, you couldn't put your fist through these doors. These were not doors. These were like real solid oak doors, and they latched and they click, when they closed. Real stuff. Okay, so I'm in the bathroom and I got my kid, my wife at the time, she's at, I guess, yoga. And I got the kid in the bathroom, and the kid is in his little jumper. Bing, 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 bing. And, oh, no, because I had taken him out of the jumper. All right, so I was drawing him a bath. He's in the jumper. The bath gets done. Test it. It's good. He's fine. I put him in there, and then he's like, he didn't like it, so he wanted a little bit warmer, I guess. He was like, cool. Kids are when they're so cute. So I make it a little bit warmer. I turn the heat on the faucet, and so now it's pouring. I step out of the room for 1 minute, and that big giant oak door slams behind me. Click. Closes. Now I should just be able to open it up, right? Except there's a design flaw in this building, which the wood drawers in the vanity in the bathroom are also made from like California redwood. It's like real serious hardcore materials. And I had a drawer pulled out. So what that meant was when I tried to open the door into the bathroom, it was hitting a drawer. It was hitting and it would not open. And the kid is in the tub and the kid is in the tub and the water is running. And oh my God, I panicked. So what do you do? What does a parent do? This parent in this case, he didn't think twice. He went right through the windshield. He's like, I'm going through the windshield. I don't care what it cost. I ran out of my apartment. I ran down the hall. I opened up the fire extinguisher and there was an axe in there. There was an axe. I took the axe and started hacking at this door. This is probably a $600 door. Yeah, this is a real door. I just started hacking at this door. I'm coming. The whole shining one. Could not get through the door. So I decided, okay, the other side of this wall is a closet. This is just drywall, right? I decided I'm hacking through the drywall. I am coming through. I'm trying to pick an area where there was no pipes. So that's how I saved my kid. I hacked through the drywall, crawled through. Oh my God, it was seriously. But that's what a dad will do. And that's what this dad did. Now I don't fault him at all for leaving his keys in his car. How can you do that? That's a mistake. What I love is that the man of action. He went right through his own windshield to get to his kid in the car. That's dad of the year for sure. Like that. All right. Let's see. What else do we have trending here today? Moving along. Here's a big deal. Here's a big story. Kylian Mbappe. You know about this dude, Kylian Mbappe? Now, of course you know. Well, maybe you do. Maybe you're a soccer dude. Mbappe, and it's really Kylian Mbappe. I don't even know if I'm saying his first name right. It's probably Kai Leoyan, but it looks like Kylian. Kylian Mbappe, he played for, does he still play for? I don't know. Has this gone through? Here's the deal. He's worth $1 billion, apparently, on one contract. Plays for Paris Saint-Germain. He's a good soccer player. We're talking about the, FIFA World Cup type stuff, not stuff that we're really known for here in America, but the rest of the world's really into it. So this is another one of those Saudi sports washing deals. The Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia is basically offering this dude, is it $1 billion for 1 year? Jesus. $1 billion to kick a ball around someone's yard for 1 year. Wow. Now it's like 700 and something million. It's like 700 million cash. And then there's something in that league called a transfer fee that has to be paid. Whatever it is, the total goes over $1 billion a year for one player, a player that many of us had never heard of before we heard he was worth $1 billion for 1 year of kicky ball. That's basically what it is. $1 billion. Kylian Mbappe. Let's see. What else do we have? I don't want. There's video of police sicking a dog on a black dude in Circleville, Ohio. If you're into that kind of thing, go ahead. Here's what I'll tell you about it. So here's what the guy is claiming. So this dude, black trucker, was in Circleville, Ohio. He's driving around, and fuck. Do the story. All right, why not? Why not do the story? Here we go. As a matter of fact, here's what we'll do. I'll just. Oh, they're going to make me do an ad, aren't they? Yeah, they sure are. All right, I'll just let you watch the story, and then we'll go from there, because I don't need to tell you anymore.
Shocking new police body camera video and the investigation into what it shows. A police dog mauling an unarmed.
Can we show something here first? Oh, here. Let me show you this. This is
shocking new.
Look at that cop right there. That cop is like, oh my God, I can't believe how.
Police body camera video and the investigation into what it shows. A police dog mauling an unarmed black man with his hands in the air. Video shows that man surrendering after a high-speed pursuit.
Also, what's going on with her? I'm kind of like really loving the colors. I'm loving her like purple, her royal dress with her like super dark. She looks like I don't know, whatever. I find her intriguing.
An Ohio State Highway Patrol officer ordered that police dog to attack anyway.
In a warning, you may find the video tough to watch. ABC's Alex Brachet has the latest on this developing investigation.
This morning, growing outrage over this police body camera footage showing an officer releasing a canine to attack an unarmed black driver surrendering after a highway chase. It happened about an
Hold
hour
on, there's
and a
nothing
half.
funny about this. I don't mean to make it sound funny. But here's something I noticed. The canine doesn't go to the right person. The canine, the first thing the canine does is starts running towards the cops. Watch.
Body camera footage showing
So
an
he's
officer
released the
releasing
dog,
a
and now
canine
the
to
dog is
attack
going
an
towards the cops. Now the dog's got to turn
unarmed
around.
black driver surrendering after a highway chase.
Dog to attack anyway.
In a warning, you may find the video tough to watch. ABC's Alex Brachet has the latest on this developing investigation.
This morning, growing outrage over this police body camera footage showing an officer releasing a canine to attack an unarmed black driver surrendering after a highway chase. It happened about an hour and a half south of Columbus. Officers tried to pull Jadarius Rose over for a missing rear mud flap. The 23-year-old refused, starting a chase. Rose at one point stopping, and as officers ordered him out of the rig at gunpoint, he took off again. 7 minutes later in the video, police able to slow him down using spike strips. As Rose gets out of the cab, his hands in the air surrendering, a highway patrolman spots Circleville police officer Ryan Speakman approaching with his canine, warning Speakman not to use the dog.
Do not release the dog with his hands up. Do not release the dog.
As Rose gets on his knees, Officer Speakman commands the dog to attack.
Get the dog off of him! Get the dog!
One officer seen covering her face as they work to pry the dog off of Rose's arm.
Nobody's trying to hurt you.
Just let a dog bite me.
All you had to do was stop, brother.
I did stop. I don't feel
20
safe.
miles ago.
That highway patrolman who warned against using the canine later heard talking to colleagues.
Was I not loud enough?
You said it 3-4 more times.
If the officers
All right.
feel that there is
That's we don't need to hear any experts clouding our opinion of what we just saw. We just saw what we saw. And we also saw the other police officers who were there, who were obviously like, what the fuck, man? What the hell? You know, I mean, this seems pretty clear to me. Now, you could make the whole case of, well, he should have stopped. I guess, but he was stopped when this happened. So you didn't need. So are you, if you're saying, well, he should have stopped, are you saying that you're advocating the, I don't know, boots on the ground in the moment dissemination of punishments? That's not the police's job. The dogs are used to stop somebody who is doing something that needs to be stopped. This guy had stopped doing that thing. So, you know, it's pretty screwed up. That cop, the guy, and you hear the other cops, do not release the dog. Do not release and he releases the dog. I mean, did you just want to see his dog maul somebody? That's pretty messed up. I am not even discussing right now the crime that occurred. The crime of no mud flap, which, you know, look, you can say, oh, this is so petty. Oh, shut up. You're a trucker. You get your mud flaps. You get pulled over for that stuff all the time. That's Trucker 101. That is not targeted because he was a black driver. No, that is a normal thing with truckers. Him refusing to stop with a truck, that's a problem. So you can understand how in the eyes of the police who are following him now, they have ratcheted this up, because this isn't, you know, Billy Bob in a pickup truck. This is a dude in an 18-wheeler that if he breaks bad on us here, this could go bad real quick. It was not a high-speed chase. He at no point, you know, broke speed limits. The excuse was that he felt he didn't feel safe. I don't know what that means. Is that a catch? I mean, I understand it. I'm not a 23-year-old black man in America in 2023, okay? Not. But I've heard tell that, you know, a lot of them feel like they're in danger out there. And I'm going to respect that. I've never had that. I'm a middle-aged white guy. I get let out of tickets, right? So But I'm not going to say that that's not a real concern for a 23-year-old black man in America today. It's not my place to say that. I think that he called 911, to sort of bolster his side. He called 911 during the thing saying, hey, look, here's what's going on. So at least some official on some level knew what was going on, knew he wasn't a threat. And then, they had to utilize spike strips. That's pretty big. They had to bring him to a stop. He did not stop on his own. Let's not see that becoming part of the narrative. Well, he stopped on his own. No, he didn't. They had to stop him. He did call 911, and he wasn't driving recklessly or at high rates of speed. And I suppose you can, in 2023, go, yeah, I can see why he might have. But, whatever. Let that play itself out in a court of law. There's going to be tickets issued. The completely other thing is after it was over, the use of the police dog. You must not conflate those two issues. You just don't. You can't. Maybe he goes to jail for a year, because of what he did. High speed. Okay, I'm fine with that. If that's the crime for that, he goes to jail for that. But now he probably ain't going to go to jail because they're going to probably drop every charge because he's going to bring a major lawsuit against that police department. That police department, they ain't going to have new cool fancy vests or patches for years because this dude's going to get a settlement because that video clearly shows all the other cops going, don't do it. And then the one cop does it. So there you have it. Does he, are there people who I think police dogs need to be sicked on? Absolutely, I do. But that's not one of them. The dude was literally on his knees with his hands up when the dog made contact with him. With all the other cops going, stop him. You know what I mean? That's a bad look. It's a bad look on that one. All right, let's see here. What else do we have happening? Broncos, the Denver Broncos, they've got a player suspended indefinitely, and it's okay because it's a shit player. That's the rule. These guys are all, the NFL is big and bold, big and tough. They're enforcing now more harshly than ever their gambling stance, their gambling rules. And what's happening here is they're also simultaneously now making more money than ever from legal gambling in certain states. The points bets, the DraftKings, all this money that's been pouring in. Now, these entities that are pouring and dumping money into the NFL, these legal gambling sites on your phone, because there are states that allow. These people are deeply invested in the idea that they're running a legit book, right? A legit book. So what does that mean? That means that they can't have players, or at least the perception that players are also gambling and possibly gambling with some kind of an edge. The integrity of the entire gambling book, the entire operation is at stake. So the NFL is punishing players who are making gambling look bad. That's the whole thing. Don't make sport. Don't ever provide any sort of reason for someone to go, I'm not going to bet $5 on this next play with DraftKings because I hear that they're giving information to play. See what I mean? You can't have that. It is crucial to legalized gambling that their honor and integrity be unimpeachable. So the NFL, in order to keep them happy, are going hard on this issue to make it look like, yes, they're not saying gambling is bad. They're saying, here, I'll give you the rule is such an easy rule to not violate, this NFL rule concerning gambling. And they've just been knocking people out left and right over the last couple of months. The rules have been in place for years, but the league has cracked down on violators as sports gambling becomes legal in more states. Former Indianapolis cornerbacks Isaiah Rodgers and linebacker Rashad Berry and free agent Demetrius Taylor were suspended indefinitely last month for betting on NFL games last year. The Colts waived Rodgers and Berry following their suspensions. Tennessee offensive tackle Nicholas Petrifier, it's one of those hyphens, was suspended for the first 6 regular season games for betting on non-NFL sports at the club facility. In late April, the league suspended Detroit's receivers Jamison Williams, Quintez Cephas, Stanley Berryhill, and safety C.J. Moore, and Washington defensive end Shaka Toney for violating the gambling policy. These are all like no names. Calvin Ridley's the biggest name so far to have gotten caught up in all this. Where is the actual? Let me read you the actual rule. It's so easy. Okay, this is all you gotta not do. This is all you gotta not do. NFL players and personnel are not allowed to gamble while in NFL facilities. That's it. They recognize it's legal in the greater outside world. You just can't gamble after practice. You just can't sit in the locker room on your phone with your app and start placing bets. Why? Because you might have just seen something. You might have just seen somebody, who's questionable, be not so questionable. Like, no, that dude's really hurt. They're going to say he's questionable and he ain't playing. But, they can't have that. So, rule number one, NFL players and personnel are not allowed to gamble while in NFL facilities. They are also not allowed to disclose any non-public NFL information. It's what the example I just gave you. Jesus, his knee is not better. His knee is going to be screwed on Sunday. I'm going to place or whatever. Right? I don't even know how it works. I don't gamble. But that's the fear, that they're going to somehow use information that they have because they're there in the facility to enrich themselves with gambling wins. So they can't disclose any non-public information. They can't enter a sports book during the NFL season. Just during the season, you just can't go to a sports book. You just can't go to Vegas and hang out in a sports book during the season. That's it. That's all you can't do. And what do you make? $5 million a year? Actually, no. None of these guys were making $5 million a year. These guys are all scrubs. Calvin Ridley was. He's the biggest name so far to be caught up in this, I think. But most of these guys are real disposable. The guy we're talking about with the Broncos, 4th round guy, played in like 6 games last year. Fourth round is not a disposable draft pick. That's not what I'm saying. But it's also not somebody that they, need to invest in and suffer a roster spot being taken up by. No, they'll just cut this dude. People's careers are being ended because they're too stupid. Again, this all comes down to us, we the people. These people made the choice. This dude, knowing full well that one of the only things he couldn't do was gamble in the locker room, decided that he was going to open up his phone and start placing some bets. You just can't do it. NFL players and personnel are not allowed to gamble while in the NFL facilities, disclose any non-public NFL information, enter a sports book during the NFL season, or maintain any social, business, or personal relationships with sports gamblers. Well, those are all pretty freaking reasonable, and they're not draconian at all. And yet these idiots are still, this is the idiot sports athlete. No, I don't have to study for that test. Someone will take it for me. These are just rules. I don't have to actually. I don't know. They're idiots. They're kids. They're dumb kids. In most of these cases, these are like 24, 25-year-old morons who are not only just 24 and 25, but they're even younger emotionally and as far as intellectually. They're even younger than that because of the experience they've had where they are, superstar athletes. It's not a real experience. You know what I mean? That's not people are pretty shitty to one another, especially when you're a dumb 19-year-old kid. But if you're a superstar athlete, you're not a dumb 19-year-old kid. You're somebody that people with money and power and influence are putting their arms around and go, you and me, kid, you and me, right? That's the bullshit. So these guys are just dummies. They have no impulse control. I can get away with it. I've gotten away with everything. Well, now you're out of the league, stupid. Defensive end Ioma Uwazuru. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name properly because I don't think we'll ever see him again. He's the 10th player this season to be suspended for gambling on games. All right, there you have it. And the Broncos. I'll tell you what, though. I do live in fear. I do live in fear of this story. This seems to be happening every couple of weeks where they name drop a couple of players. And maybe we're done because camp has started. Maybe we're done. Maybe maybe this is the last round. Oh my God, knock wood. I hope so. Right? Maybe this was all of these over the past couple of months was an investigation that was designed to conclude at the start of training camp, which is how I would hope it would be. But I do, as a fan of a team, I worry that, oh my God, is one of my idiots going to get suspended because they couldn't fucking control themselves? Because they're an idiot. Let's see here. Texas UFO. Apparently there was a big UFO here in Texas on Sunday night. Wasn't a UFO. Don't worry about it. It was SpaceX. There's like all these pictures. I was watching this because, I'm Mr. UFO. And I thought it was debunked pretty quickly as being, the SpaceX launch from Florida on Sunday evening. But there was definitely, I saw the pictures going around, even watched some video. There was definitely something streaking across the sky on Sunday night. I didn't see it with my own eyes, but I saw video of it. There was definitely something streaking across the sky, and people were like, UFOs, what is this? This looks like it's shooting things out of it. And it was shooting things out of it. It was, it was breaking apart. It was the SpaceX launch from Florida that occurred about a half hour earlier. So no Stevensville part 2. You guys remember Stevensville? Ooh, man, that is one of my favorites. I will tell you what, man. I have 3 favorite UFO incidents that occurred. I'm a UFO freak. Everybody who knows me knows that I'm very fascinated in this subject. I'm not a weirdo. You know what I mean? I'm not one of these, the little green men. No, I don't know. I just know there's something. I just don't know what. I mean, there's something though. My 3 favorite, and you can Google and you can look up any of these. They're all fascinating. YouTube is a good place for all this stuff. My favorite one, my absolute favorite one, is the Tinley Park Lights. The Tinley Park Lights incident, because that's my hometown, or at least my home, 2 towns, neighborhoods. Tinley Park Lights happened after an Ozzy Osbourne concert. There's this big, there's a giant outdoor theater, summertime amphitheater where big bands come and play. And like we got here in Dallas, we got Smirnoff here in Dallas. So it's like that. And it's in Tinley Park. It was, at the time, it was called the World Music Theater. And Ozfest had just gotten out. And there was like, what is it, 18,000 people? So like maybe 9,000 cars. So there's like 9,000 cars, maybe less than that, because people don't just come to, but you know what I'm saying? There were thousands of cars stuck in the traffic coming out of this sold out Ozfest show. And everybody saw the same thing. And this is probably about 2005. This is 2005, something like that. Everybody saw the same thing. Everybody reported it. All these 911 calls. What the hell is this? What the hell is this? Ozzy Osbourne himself supposedly saw it, which if I ever interview Ozzy Osbourne, I'll ask him about his experience with the Tinley Park Lights. But not only there, but everybody all across this area of Chicagoland heard about it. It was really cool. City of Tinley Park actually built a statue in their town square of a father with a daughter on her shoulders, and they're both looking up at the sky to commemorate the Tinley Park Lights. Second, Arizona, the Phoenix Lights. Phoenix Lights is awesome. I'm sure if you're even remotely, that's probably the Phoenix Lights. Trying to see if there's somebody in our yard, which I should know about, because we got a dog running free. That doesn't look like it. The Phoenix Lights, even if you're, not into UFOs, you've probably heard of the Phoenix Lights. A giant thing occurred in 1998. I think Symington was the governor. He made fun of it. He had a press conference, showed up in a alien suit. We caught the aliens. That's a big one. Stevensville, Texas. This occurred about 2015. I'm thinking, I don't know, you guys might know, but no. Stevensville happened much earlier than that. 2007, maybe. That's a real good one. And just outside Dallas, Fort Worth, Stevensville, Texas, man. The entire town saw this thing. Stevensville, this is what I like. See, you notice my top 3. What do my top 3 UFO sightings have in common? Tinley Park Lights, Phoenix Lights, Stevensville. Here's what they have in common. Mass sightings. Not just one person going, okay, and then I'm going to say this, and then Cooter, you're going to say that, and then we're going to get Bob's uncle who lives across town. He's going to, no, none of that. Thousands and thousands of people all saying the exact same thing. So that was why those are good ones. But the one on Sunday night that we all thought we were kind of being quiet about, is that a UFO? Was it or wasn't it? Nah, it wasn't. Just SpaceX. Elon wrecking our fun again. Look at that. Pope is trending. Pope Frank is trending. But Pope Frank is a difficult one for me because I like the dude. I like Pope Frank. I am, of course, a lapsed Catholic. I was raised Catholic. Let's see here. Sorry, my back hurts. I jumped through all the Catholic hoops and all that kind of stuff. I'm no longer Catholic, no longer practicing any organized faith. But here's the thing. I like being culturally Catholic. It's like we've seen this with Jewish people before. Like there are Jewish people who are non-practicing Jews, but they love all of the accoutrements that come with being in Jewish culture. That's how I feel about Catholicism. I like Catholic culture. I love it. Now, why? Because that's what I was raised in, and it's what I'm probably most suited for. But as far as the going to the church thing, all that, I don't need that. And besides, church for Catholics, it's different than church for other Christians. It's different. You know what I mean? Like normal Christians have like, they're priests, they're pastors or preachers. I don't even know what you call them. They wear suits, There's carpeting in your churches. You have guitar music. What? See, that is not Catholic. Catholic doesn't have like, some guy who's got a hot wife and nice kids and they're leading. No, Catholic's got like some dude who's theoretically never been laid, and he's wearing the same outfit every day. It's very like, Da Vinci Code. It's just weird, hard, echoey stone hallways, no carpeting. There's no carpeting in a Catholic church. It's just echoes. It's just and then there's the holy porn. Oh my God. Every Catholic church. See, you go into a normal church like a Baptist church or something like that, and there's like smiling rays of the sun, and woo, people rejoicing, and it's all good. You go into a Catholic church, and here's what you're going to see. You're going to see some amazing artwork. You're going to see some of the most beautiful art that you've ever seen, but it's going to depict in great detail. Every Catholic church I've ever been into does this. It's going to depict in great detail the crucifixion of a human man. And we're all supposed to just be looking at this going, oh, it's beautiful art. I really like the way they show his bone splintering through the... Catholicism's dark. That's why I don't do the whole Sunday thing. But Monday through Saturday, man, yeah, I'm fine being a Catholic. So Pope Frank, who is a dude who I'm interested in because he seems like a pretty cool Pope. He has said some pretty cool things. Pope, not cool thing. I mean, look, there's a Pope can never be cool. Okay, you know what I mean? But like for a Pope, not bad. Not bad for a Pope. Like here, like this is something a Pope never would have done before. But the Pope did something yesterday. But he also, he's an old man. An old man tries to show that he's not changing, but accepting the world as it presents itself before him in his aging years. Old guys do that. And then they try to say something nice, but then they just undercut it with something that, isn't nice. That's kind of what the Pope did. So anyway, the Pope did this, like, Pope's got a podcast. You know this? They literally call it the Popecast. Oh, Jesus, is that great? So the Pope's got a podcast, and the Pope was doing like a youth thing with a bunch of youth. So here's the story. God loves us as we are, Pope says to young transgendered person. Do not give up. Keep striving. Do not give up. Keep striving. God loves us as we are. The Pope, to a little trans kid. A little trans kid. However, he also said something that's not getting as much heat, but I picked up on it immediately. Here's exactly what he said. God loves us as we are, even the sinners. You see what he said? They left that out of the headline. He said even the sinners, suggesting that this trend, that he still believes that, which is, a whole other kind of problem, but whatever. Let's just take the small victory that the Pope saw a trans kid and took his questions and actually was kind of nice to him. There you go. All right, that's what's happening with Pope Frank. Yeah, he's also the dude like 5 years ago who was like, "What, gay? I don't think God cares." That was like his whole thing on gay, which was pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Gay? I don't think he didn't. God doesn't care about who you love or something like that. Yeah. Let's see, what else do we have here? We are running out of time, which is good because my back is killing me. Let's see here. Let's do this. This is fun. This was released. Barack Obama's playlist, his annual summer playlist, is released. And it is the biggest hunk of shit. He ain't listening to this stuff. This is what a machine the Obama thing is. They are such a machine. They know exactly how to sort of stoke whatever so playlist. So Mr. Cool Guy President. And by the way, I don't have a problem with Obama. I like Obama, but this is just such a manipulation of who this guy is. So he tweeted, which he didn't tweet. He doesn't tweet. He's got an entire. There's probably somebody. They do shifts on his tweets, right? So here's what supposedly Barack Obama tweeted: "Like I do every year, here are some songs I've been listening to this summer. A mix of old and new. Look forward to hearing what I've missed. Now, here's why this is interesting. Because it's curated. It's a curated list. Whatever he's really listening to, every one of those artists didn't make it. He's probably got R. Kelly. Did you know how old Barack Obama is? Barack Obama, if he's got a playlist of thousands, he's got some R. Kelly on there. Do you think they're going to release in the official list that Barack Obama likes to jog to, Ignition or that I believe I can fly? No, they're not going to do that. So this is a bullshit curated list that is absolutely, I don't know, they believe foolproof or Teflon as far as people taking shots. Why is Barack Obama promoting a music artist who rapes women? You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. So all of these groups have to be sort of cleaned up. So let's go through this list that they've deemed okay for his summer playlist. He's got Who Told You? J Hus featuring Drake. Look, he's the cool president. He knows who Drake is. Snooze by SZA. I'll Stand By You by the Pretenders. All right, so now he's showing, look, but I'm also like white suburban people. So I got like, I'm cool because I'm the black guy. I'm cool black guy. I give you some J Hus with Drake, and then I'm going to give you some SZA because that's me. It's Brand, it's Obama. Yo, I'm cool. But also because I rely on the suburbs, the white people in the suburbs. How about some Pretenders? I stand by you. Nobody likes Snooze by SZA and I'll Stand By You by the Pretenders. Vampiros is another song. I don't know what this is. Rosalia and Rao. Oh, it's world music. Oh, I got it. There's a little something for the Latin bass, maybe, so that you people think that I also like your stuff. California Love, 2-pack featuring Rao. Hey. California Love. That's a banger. I got no problems with that. That's on. That should be on everybody's playlist. Dance Me to the End of Love. Oh, Leonard Cohen. He's doing some Leonard Cohen. Again, giving a little something to the white people that donate, the white rich people in the suburbs that donate, that open their checkbooks to whatever Obama cause they're pushing. Nowhere to Run by Martha Reeves and the Vandellas. A little something to the old boomers, right? The Clinton boomers who switched over and decided that they were going to be, down with Barack Obama. So you got to get them with that. No Biggity L. I don't even know what that is. Now there's just a bunch of now he's establishing his street cred again. There's just a whole bunch of hip hop stuff. Burna Boy feature 21 Savage, Sitting on Top of the World. All right. Got Till It's Gone by Janet Jackson. I think that's legit. I think Barack Obama's probably legit got a bunch of Janet Jackson on his playlist. Walk Like an Egyptian by the Bangles. Barack Obama ain't listening. See, no, again, soccer mom music. He's trying to appeal to a 52-year-old soccer mom who's now active. She's got an empty nest. She's getting active in local organizing, and she just loves Obama. And guess what? He also loves Walk Like an Egyptian. That's not a real thing. He doesn't really like the Bangles' Walk Like an Egyptian. Although he may, because who doesn't? But it's not like something that he would. This is such a bullshit list. Soul Survivor by the Rolling Stones. All right. See, that's very, very institutional. He's not just into these weird groups that nobody's heard of or these fringe groups that dominate certain charts or just, the obvious pandering of the major pop stars. No, he's a foundational man. He enjoys the classics. Here's some Rolling Stone for you. Dr. Feel Good by Aretha Franklin. I prefer the Motley Crue version, but whatever. Blue Train by John Coltrane. He's like, see, but I'm also sophisticated. See, sure, I've got Sitting on Top of the World by Burna Boy and 21 Savage, but also some Coltrane, because that's me. I'm Barack Obama. I'm very complicated. Princess Diana by Ice Spice and Nicki Minaj. A little something new, showing that he's still on top of things. Is that new? I don't know. I thought Ice Spice was pretty new. Funky Kingston by Toots and the Mayall. Oh, okay. So that's kind of old. That's like some old. Let's see here. What else? Unchained Melody by the Righteous Brothers. No. Look, if you've got, with all due respect, wait a second. What is Unchained Melody? I'll always I don't know. Is that Dirty Dancing? Or do I just confuse that with I had the time of my life? They're both bad songs. They're both stupid songs. And this is not on. Unchained Melody is not on Barack Obama. Although maybe he is old. He may have some sentimental. Moving on. Golden Lady by Stevie Wonder. I believe that's legit. Dr. My Eyes by Jackson Brown. Nope, that's another one designed to the Clinton wing, the older, now they're in their mid-60s, late 60s, whatever. Those people who were big Clinton supporters who moved over to the Obama campaign, he is appealing to them there with some bullshit. Barack Obama does not like Jackson Brown, Dr. My Eyes. And by the way, that's just a throw out of Jackson Brown. If he was a real Jackson Brown fan, he would have some probably lesser known songs. Cry Me a River by Ella Fitzgerald. Let's see here. Reach Out, I'll Be There by the Four Tops. Okay. Again, we're going through Barack Obama's supposed summer playlist. Just Breathe by Pearl Jam. Barack Obama ain't got no Pearl Jam. Barack Obama in the late 90s was not into grunge. He wasn't. He was into R. Kelly. You know what he was into in the 90s? R. Kelly and Michael Jackson. That's fine. We were all into that too. But he wasn't into grunge. This is just to appeal to, again, other people. They can be like, yeah, me and Obama both love Pearl Jam. If I ever see Barack Obama, and I won't, but should I ever see Barack Obama, I'm going to say, name me 4 Pearl Jam songs. Go. And he won't even mention the one that is supposedly on this because that's not one that comes to mind. All right, what else we got? Love and Hate by Michael Kiwanuka. Anyway, there you go. That's Barack Obama's annual playlist, summer playlist that he puts out. Portillo's is trending. I went to Portillo's on Friday night. Went to Portillo's Friday night with my boy for my birthday dinner. Love it. Got me a beef and cheddar. Got me a Maxwell Polish. Had a little lunch with Aaron Sockwell and his lovely daughter Kinley and my boy. We had a very nice time. Chocolate cake shakes for everyone. It was good times. I love Portillo's. Oh, that is why do I love these people? I get these people. I get it. It's totally understandable, and it's absolutely true from your perspective. I get these people to go. I went there. I didn't get it. I didn't get what the big buzz is about. I'm like, was it good? Yeah, it was fine. It was good. I go, well, okay. So here's the problem. And this is what I've come to understand. Again, we go back to that thing that I always like to lean on, the sentimental attachment that shapes who we are. I love Portillo's because there is a sentimental attachment and there is a specific flavor that place produces that you can't get anywhere else. So if you grow up on that, where every Friday night for the first 28 years of your life, you're eating that flavor, you're having that flavor, and then suddenly it's taken away from you because you're someone like myself who moved away from the Midwest and down here to Texas. Yes, when it suddenly appears again in the prospect of having that flavor that connects you to being 14 years old, that flavor that connects you to your first girlfriend, whatever it is, if you've got that opportunity, yes, you're willing to wait in line. And that's why Portillo's is so crowded, because there are a lot of people from Illinois in this state right now, and they will go through hell or high water to get that flavor. I know that's how I feel about the Maxwell Polish. That is a flavor. My buddy Aaron, who knows I love the Maxwell Polish, he doesn't like it. He's like, that's a weird taste. And I go, it is a weird taste, ain't it? And it's a weird taste that I've been used to since I'm 6 years old. So that weird taste to me is delicious. But I can totally get how somebody who has never tasted a Maxwell style Polish sausage sandwich might take a bite and go, okay, I don't know if that's good or bad. It is good. I'll save you that. It is good, but it is different. So anyway, Portillo's is trending because the one in the Colony up there, the one that I've just been talking about, is so freaking popular. Portillo's is now rapidly expanding throughout the North Texas area. They're going to try and relieve some of the stress, some of the lines. My God, you go there at any random time and there's going to be 200 cars in the drive-thru. I'm not kidding. 200 cars in the drive-thru and 300 people in the dining room. That's how freaking crazy this place is. Anyway, Portillo's is coming to Allen. That's right. Portillo's arrives in Allen early with hot dogs and Italian beef. They did this with the Colony too, where they take out a Portillo's food truck and they hang around in the neighborhood where Portillo's will eventually be. Now, this Portillo's is going in, right next to, what's it, 1955 Central Expressway, right next to the Allen Outlet Malls, where, of course, had that terrible incident. The store's not going to open for a while, but the truck is going to be parked there from July 25th through August 12th. The food truck will sell items the restaurant is known for: Chicago-style hot dogs and mini versions of its Italian beef sandwiches. Crinkle-cut fries can come on the side. The bus will be parked at Hampton Inn Hotel at 830 West Stacy Road in Allen. That's the Hampton Inn, 830 West Stacy Road in Allen. It'll be parked there from July 25th today through August 12th, okay? Today through August 12th at 830 Stacy Road in Allen. That's the Hampton Inn parking lot. You can get some Portillo's. I guess the eventual restaurant's going to be right there in that area as well. So they did this with the Colony one. Got to tell you, not good. Like, don't let this be your Portillo's experience. That's what I keep warning people. I got it from the food truck and I don't know, it didn't taste right. Yeah, because it was from a food truck. Because it was probably a little bit colder than it normally would be. It didn't. You got to go to the restaurant, and it's not a it's not a restaurant. It's like a fast food place. Anyway, my point is this: if you want to check out the Portillo's before it comes permanently to Allen, July 25th through August 12th, it's going to be in the parking lot of the Hampton Inn at 830 West Stacy Road, right there in Allen. All right, that about. Actually, what is this story? Hold on, let me see what the story says. I didn't even read the story. I was just reading the. Let's see here. Before Chicago restaurants, Portillo's opened its second restaurant. Before they opened their second restaurant in Texas, its beef bus will roll through Collin County from the 25th through the 12th. We talked about that, where it's going to be parked. What does it say? The reason the beef bus is serving food from a suburban hotel parking lot is to, quote, give locals the chance to experience Portillo's Chicago-style street food ahead of opening its new restaurant. It'll surely create a buzz for the 60-year-old Chicago staple, even though many Texans have already responded happily to its arrival. In early 2023, when Texas's first Portillo's opened in the Colony, lines were more than an hour long, both in the drive-thru and in the store. The CEO told the Dallas Morning News in 2022 that Portillo's has long planned to expand into Texas, with North Texas as a focus. Let's see here. One of the reasons the company is excited about Texas is because it's the #1 state for mail order Portillo's food with the company's shop and ship program. Homesick Chicagoans can order all the fixins for Italian beef sandwiches, hot dogs. I used to do this. I used to get that sent to me, the Portillo's packages. So what Portillo's did was, man, we are sending a shit ton of this stuff to Dallas. We need to get down there and open a restaurant because apparently there are people in Dallas who are into this. So there you have it. If you like that. I like it. But again, I mean, I don't get upset, because I've had people go, yeah, I didn't really like it. I didn't really get it. That's totally understandable. I mean, you didn't grow up with it. That's what it is. It's a sentimental thing, right? It is. I mean, look, I will, if we're going to get into a, does this taste good fight, then yeah, I mean, I'll go to the mattresses on that. Yeah, yes, it tastes good. Okay. But whether or not it appeals to you personally, that's a whole nother thing. And I can understand why it wouldn't appeal to you. But anyone that would go, I tasted it, it tasted like shit, I'd be like, you know what? Then your taste buds are garbage, because that does not taste like shit. You may not like it. It may not be your thing. But what, you don't like steak? Because that's what it is. It's basically a cheesesteak sandwich. That's except it's done a little bit differently. All right, let's see. What are we missing? Are there any new news? Yes, there was. I saw something new. Some big breaking story popped just within the last. Let's see here. Again, remember, indictment watch for whatever that means. So I'm looking for, there was a news story that popped really big, or at least I thought, and I don't want to say it until I can confirm it. Why is Dan Patrick trending? Boy, let's see here. Yeah, I don't see it, man. I don't see it. All right, guys. I think we are going to wrap up today's show. I appreciate you being here. We're going to do a show tonight. We're going to get into the Barbenheimer thing that's happening. We've got somebody on our Radio Misfit show Monday through. That was a back pain, man. That one shot right up. Hurt my back moving a mattress yesterday. And my voice still isn't on the way back. Oh, God, you guys, I'm such a mess. Anyway, point being this, tonight at 9 o'clock, Radio Misfit Show. Myself, James Parker, 9 p.m. Monday through Thursdays, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Chopping it up, all kinds of different things we talk about, whatever, whatever's happening. We try to have a nice little conversation about it, current events, lifestyle stuff. E has seen both Barbie and Oppenheimer, and if you know anything about this is going to be difficult getting a review out of him. But James and I are going to try. We're going to ask questions, and we'll see how much E was paying attention, and we'll see what his overall vibe was on both Barbie and Oppenheimer. So we'll do that. We've also got we've got other things to do tonight as well, but that's what we'll get into. I'm trying to think. Is there anything else that we need? Do you know that everything is different? This was day one at the new studio here, the original Comfort Nest Studios, the redone Comfort Nest Studios. And hold on. And I had to do everything different. Like in the past, this microphone was over here. Like this is what you used to get, but I had to do everything different to make a certain situation work. And because I had to move the microphone to the left, I had to move everything else to the left. So the phones, the cord, everything. I am now, after doing things right-handed for so long, I'm now forced to do everything left-handed. I know. Will my hardships ever end? I have no idea. Thank you, folks. Appreciate you being here today. Let's let John Hinckley take us out with our closing theme.
I have got my poetry. I have got my songs. They see me through the lonely nights.
So Frank in the chat room, Frank says Whataburger is the Portillo's of Texas. Let me tell you something. I would kill. How do I get a Whataburger franchise? How do I get Whataburger to allow me to open a Whataburger in the Chicagoland area? And I know exactly where it's going to go. It's going to go on Harlem Avenue at I-80. At the Harlem Avenue, right there. It's going to go. It's right next. What do you got? You got the outdoor music theater there. You got the city of Tinley Park. Oh, Frank, you are absolutely right. Do you know how big a hit with Whataburger you could have? That is exactly true. The way, but here's the problem. Here's the thing. Unlike, we don't have the reverse, like Portillo's works here because aging people from the Midwest move to warmer climates, when they retire. It's just nicer. And there's no taxes in Texas. So there's all kinds of reasons. So there are people here who are familiar with it. I don't know how many Texans are in the Chicago area. I mean, would they be able to create the pandemonium in, say, the south side of Chicago that Portillo's has done in the colony? I don't know. I just don't think there's not a whole lot of people moving from Texas to that area. Unlike Texas has people moving from that area because, again, for any number of reasons, but primarily and traditionally, it's always been older people, snowbirds, right? Escaping. So I don't know, but I absolutely agree with you, Frank. Whataburger is very similar. The love and the sort of limited access to Whataburger and all of what comes with that, very similar to Portillo's. How once people couldn't get Portillo's, suddenly. See, if you were in Chicago, when you live in Chicago, Portillo's ain't your favorite beef sandwich. It ain't. Portillo's is just the one that's everywhere. But your favorite beef sandwich is the one, that's a couple blocks from your house that you walk to. That's just how prevalent it is. Portillo's is just the one at the top. Like people say, is this the best beef sandwich in Chicago? And I'm like, no, I think that's Rubino's. Some people would say Johnny's. I personally, prefer Pops as well. But anyway, they're big beef sandwich in Chicago. Portillo's is just the most famous one that is broken out. the opposite of that with Whataburger is that Whataburger is in fact the best hamburger that you're going to get. It actually is the best. So I don't know. Could the quality of Whataburger, the obvious quality of, and Portillo's is quality too. It's just that in the beef sandwich game in Chicago, ground zero for beef sandwiches, in the beef sandwich game, Portillo's is not a consistent number one. Like everybody's like, it's my favorite. It's the most well-known. So it appears high on charts because it's the most well-known. But, everybody makes a good beef sandwich in Chicago. So everybody's got a different flavor. Not the case with Whataburger. I don't know. I came into Whataburger cold. I'd never had a Whataburger till I was in my 30s. Woo! My favorite hamburger. Ironically, it's not my favorite hamburger. My favorite hamburger is the Portillo's double cheeseburger. Look at what I did there. I don't know how that happened, but I went Whataburger a second. I love Whataburger. Oh my God, a double Whataburger. Hey, can we talk about what the real secret weapon at Whataburger is? That patty melt. That Whataburger patty melt sandwich is, oh my God. Oh, a boy can dream. All right, you guys, I love you. I got to get out of here. Kids got double sessions for football. Got to take him all the way up there and then putter around and kill time. And then you know how it goes. I love you. We'll see you tonight at 9 o'clock. Have a great day. Bye.
Things are going good. I always had to be on guard. That is understood. It has been a journey, a multi-answer test. I am on a never-ending quest. Tomorrow is another day. The best is yet to come. I have found a different way, so baffling to some. I have got an old guitar, that is all I need. I don't need no 401, I don't have the greed. Down the road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest. I am on a never-ending quest. Tomorrow is another day, the best is yet to come.